Hi there, Tamara Doris, your Sacramento real estate professional and your Sacramento real estate professor. And today I want to do a little rant, and I never get really negative on social media, and I include this part of social media. But I had something happen, and I just thought, why are agents not educating their clients? And I can't say it, it's not uniform all the way around, but I had something come up, and I just wanted to share it in case you're a seller, even if you're not in Sacramento, or in case you're a buyer, even if you're not in Sacramento. And it's it has something to do with etiquette. So I had a deal close over 2 weeks ago, and the buyers, towards the end of the transaction, we had the inspection report called out electrical. And so I had an electrician come and look at the report, fix everything, give it a clearance that everything's been fixed, take pictures of everything he did, and then we paid him. My seller paid him. It was, a couple $1,000s. The report went to the buyer. Okay? If the buyer had any questions, the buyer, in that time frame before we closed, the buyer had the ample opportunity to call that electrician and say, I don't get why you did this instead of this. I know the electrician. I've worked with him for years, and he did everything right. So it's his performance is not even at all in question. Okay, so that's aside. But the buyer didn't do that. The buyer waited until 2 weeks after closing. 2 weeks after closing, called my electrician and asked my electrician, could he stop by and explain some of the things he did. Okay, so now we're going to talk about etiquette. Number one, my electrician does not even live in town. And, he's a single dad, time is money. And so when he asked me what to do, I said, you tell him what your hourly rate is. The buyer did not pay you. You did not get hired by the buyer. You owe the buyer zero because the transaction is closed. He doesn't even technically have to answer any questions. But the thing is, this buyer didn't want to, if you would have asked him a question like, in the report it says this and this, and I'm just wondering why that had to be done, my electrician would have been cool enough, professional enough, and kind enough to give an answer. But no, this guy wants my electrician, who's out of town, to come here and just hang out with him for a couple hours and explain all the things he did. I said, absolutely not. Not only is that not professional, it's not acceptable. Like, why would someone think that? So my instructions to him is, you tell him what your hourly rate is and that you will be happy to come and review the things. And, he has never had that happen, so he didn't understand. And I just explained to him, he did not hire you. That buyer did not hire you. And the deal is closed. You do not owe that buyer anything. Okay? Anything. So no matter who you are, if you're a seller and this happens to you, because a lot of times, oh my gosh, in California is really notorious for being sue happy, right? So a lot of times buyers will come back and say, we didn't know about this, and they will literally start a lawsuit. So that's why one of the things is so important, wherever you are, even if you're not in Sacramento, please make sure that you're working with an agent who has many transactions underneath her belt, that she is fully apprised of real estate law, whether it's in California or New Mexico, I don't care, but it's so important. A lot of times, and I say this, every semester, I think that they should raise the bar to get your real estate license, because all you have to do really is take a couple classes, get a C on a test, an exam, and then you can go deal with these big assets. And just because someone's really good in sales, like they can, I don't want to say schmooze, but they can talk a good game and get the contract signed, and they're really friendly and fun, and they bring you a nice gift basket when you close, and you're like, they were a great agent. Did they cross every T and dot every I? Did they review your transaction disclosure statement and your seller questionnaire and all the disclosures? Did they apply all the correct disclosures? Because sometimes something will be missed and it's not caught until years later, right? So all of these things are fodder for a lawsuit. And it's really important that you understand the rules, the disclosures, and the laws. So no matter where you are, Make sure that you, especially if you're a seller, make sure that you have an agent who actually is worth their weight in gold. That's number one. Number two, whether you're a seller or a buyer, understand real estate etiquette. If you are a buyer and the seller is having some repair work done, it's your responsibility as the buyer to go through the completed report and to ask at that time before closing if you have any questions. Now, in this case, if the buyer just really wanted to learn, and it could be that, he just really wants to learn, then he would offer the vendor an hourly rate. That would have been fine if he said, you did some work on this house before we closed a couple weeks ago, and what is your hourly rate? I'd like to hire you for 3 or 4 hours to come out, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But as a rule, if you're a buyer and that happens and you want to know more about what went on, you ask before the close of escrow. You ask when you get the report. That's why real estate has really strict timelines. Now, if you're a seller, and this is the situation where the buyer's coming back to you and you're already moved out and the house is already closed, you don't have to, you call your agent. Your agent, I don't care if the deal is done. Your agent will still, if they're a good agent, will still protect you. Like, there is no way I would give these buyers my seller's private contact information to ask her questions about the electricity or whatever. There's no way. I will protect her even if it's a year from now, right? So just make sure that besides all the laws, which are super important, make sure you understand real estate etiquette. There's a time and a place for everything, and everything has a timeline, but most importantly is just show some common sense. You can't ask someone to come and go over a review with you. If you were paying him, which in this case the buyer did not pay them, that would be different, but it also would be inappropriate to wait till 2 weeks after the closing. You would do it that day. Like, if I wanted to know what was going on with the electricity and the electrical work, I could have gone the day the electrician was there and said, can you just walk me through everything? I would have totally been within my rights, and he would have totally done it. But that's not the case. And so just really be aware of etiquette, because it really makes a big difference. Okay? Hopefully you found that helpful. If you are thinking of buying or selling a home in the Sacramento area, I'm your girl. Oh my gosh, I even have a shirt on that says Realtor Vibes. Anyway, my name's Tamara Doris. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye for now.